See the screenshot. This is a fraudulent takedown notice from YouTube. Irish cops are trying to hide evidence of perjury by falsely claiming to YouTube that there is defamation. There is no defamation. This is whistleblowing. Whistleblowing police corruption and police brutality in Ireland. And that whistleblowing is protected by law. Here we can see an email from YouTube, who often ignore EU law and refuse or make it difficult to get the original complaints. The email is related to perjury evidence by Detective James McNeil. This is another email, as they've done this before, telling me they are going to geofence content related to Irish police, or Gardaí as they quaintly like to be known, to hide it from Irish-based viewers. This effectively means the Irish detective in this question, James McNeil, is attempting to make sure that the newly reformed Irish Police Ombudsman cannot see this content for disciplinary matters that will eventually carry criminal charges and possible prison sentences. It's important to note, while the YouTube takedown complaint references defamation, Detective James McNeil has never filed defamation proceedings because he cannot disprove that he committed perjury, placing him in a no-win situation where all he can do is lie about defamation or claim it, but he can never legally pursue it because he will lose the case, and Detective James McNeil knows that. In essence, Garda detective, Irish police officer, Detective James McNeil is committing additional fraud by lying to YouTube. If he was, as a detective is supposed to be, beyond reproach, then he would have no problem with this evidence being visible to the Irish people, Irish IPs and Irish public. This late and desperate move to further hide evidence of misconduct by Irish Town Garda Station or Irish Town Police Station detectives and Kevin Street Garda Station detectives and officers is likely due to the recent reform of the Irish Police Ombudsman, formerly GSOC, and the detectives in question wish to try and obscure and hide from the newly reformed Irish Police Ombudsman evidence of perjury, police brutality, police sexual violence, false imprisonment, and the long-running scam of taking fraudulent cases against perceived vulnerable people to defraud the Irish state via false claims to the Internal Irish Police Redress or Insurance Board, which, as you can guess, obviously means there's a doctor involved, because as I evidenced previously, someone had to write those false medical complaints. It's quite an absurd move because the evidence is already in the wild, and once the Ombudsman requests the court dar, well, there. I mean, that's how silly it is, really. I want to make this very clear. This is not happening in the dark. I have evidence, paper trail of contacting their superior and commanding officers within An Garda Síochána, the Irish police, and alerting them to what was happening and being done to me. Superintendents, etc. They all looked away, looked at their feet, and allowed their boys to be out-of-control predators defrauding the Irish state. One of them even got moved to be head of investigations at GSOC. That's how corrupt it has been. This email from YouTube is an Irish police officer directly trying to hide evidence of perjury, corruption and fraud. What's interesting is that this also makes him an accessory to kidnapping, torture, sexual assault at gunpoint, sexual torture at gunpoint, sexual humiliation at gunpoint, sexual humiliation not at gunpoint, but at the threat of violence, falsification of public records, breaches of the An Garda Síochána Act, and more. Irish cops work hard at trying to police the internet and suppress evidence of their misconduct and criminality. Whether it is false reports to geofence content like this and to hide it from the Irish people, this whistleblowing evidence of their own corruption and perjury, or whether it is running sock accounts on Twitter and Reddit, which again I have evidence of, this is just another example. Remember, there are no good cops as long as cops like these are allowed to exist. There are good jailers, though. Remember to be kind and well-mannered to your jailer. It's a shit job, and they're aware of it. And it should be recognized as a proper vocation with its own pay grades. The Irish cops in question, specifically in this regard, Detective James McNeil and Detective Gollum. Sorry, I mean Detective Hervé Villachez. No, sorry, I mean Detective Knickknack. No, look, I'll get this right. My notes are not exactly in order. Detective Bowl-headed, claw-fingered, shadow-scuttling goblin. No, that's not it. Detective I'm so fucked if this ever goes to trial because I was stupid enough to ask Fluff if we'd managed to confiscate all of their access to evidence of our police corruption and brutality on camera. No, that's not it. Give me a second. It's not Gimli either, as he can't grow a beard. I'll find it. Give me a moment. What is this? Is it Detective the One Bad Dwarf from Time Bandits? No. Detective I'm a bad loser at pool at Frank Ryan's bar in Dublin 8, and I failed to disclose that to the relevant authorities that I used to play pool with Fluff at Frank Ryan's bar, and that probably makes me extra fucked. No, that's not it. Is it Detective Oops, where's my pension gone? No. But probably also that. No, it's Detective Shane, I think. Shane Cahill. Honestly, I'd have a photo for this, but as any God-fearing Irish person will know, it's nearly impossible to get a photo of one of the little people. And, if and you do, you risk vexing them, the people in the mounds, and they'll end up stealing more children and replacing them with changelings, which is how we get detectives like Shane Cahill anyway. So I just thought I'd put this up as a marker. It's all ahead of you like a wheelbarrow, lads. I bet you're regretting leaving me alive now, aren't you? Could have tortured me a bit more. Maybe made the spine damage a bit worse, right? You ain't gonna have any way to explain how you falsified the documents for the second court case. Even after going through all that trouble of arresting me outside the Dublin High Court, you then fucked up by submitting a false instrument in the district court. As long as I'm fucking alive,